So when you're looking at liquidity to make, see if a company can make its short-term debts and make its short-term payments, current ratio is very popular, very good. It's usually a pretty good ratio. But for those who want a more stringent test, something that's a little tougher than that, that's where you'd look at the quick ratio, otherwise known as the acid test ratio. It's very similar to the current ratio, it's just tougher. It's a tougher hurdle to get over. It's something you'd look at the balance sheet for, and the quick ratio is looking at its current assets of an organization minus the inventory, and inventory being an asset, right? You own those goods that you want to later sell. So current assets minus inventory divided by the current liabilities. So it's like the current ratio, which was all your current assets and all your liabilities, current liabilities, and then you do that factor as a ratio. The quick ratio is taking those current assets, but it's taking inventory on it, basically reducing that current asset number. It's reducing the number of current assets if you take inventory out, which makes it a tougher number to have a number above 1. Let's say we said in the current ratio it's below 1. That's really troubling. It makes it harder because you've now taken out a whole chunk of inventory that has value. And the reason that it's done in the quick ratio, it's for somebody who wants a more stringent test of that current ratio, basically a more stringent test to say, or a harder test in terms of, can this company meet its short-term obligations? Because the thought behind it is, if you think about inventory, let's say you're looking at a retail company that has a lot of inventory. They might have inventory in warehouses, they have inventory in their stores, they might have inventory in these stores all over the country or the city or the world. They could be all over the place, right? All this inventory, and it takes time to sell inventory. You can have a sale and stuff and sell down your inventory, but still it's a lot harder to sell inventory than to just take cash out of your cash account as a company. So the quick ratio is taking that, saying, let's take inventory out of this equation because we know that's not as current as we'd like it to be. We want a tougher test, and we want a tougher test to see how strong this company is in its ability to make its current debt, to service its current liability, so to speak. And that's how we take inventory out. So the quick ratio only looks at those assets minus its inventory, and then all those current liabilities stay. So if you've got a company that's got a good current ratio, but then when you look at its quick ratio and it's really lower, it's going to be lower, but it's going to be much lower, maybe troublesome compared to other companies in the industry. Well, that might mean that they're carrying a lot of inventory, for example. You might want to look at things like an inventory turn ratio or look at other things, because now that's a little troubling. It's like, yeah, we have a lot of inventory that's just basically building up our assets, building up our current ratio, but really to liquidate all that inventory, and we always need inventory on hand for our customers at some point anyways, that could be troubling. So if you see companies that have maybe low current ratios and you're really concerned about it, look at its quick ratio and see how that compares to the industry. Maybe it's okay, but it might also be a real indication that there's danger ahead. And you see a company that has great current ratios and great quick ratios, heck, at least with that company, it's great with its short-term liabilities and able to meet those short-term liabilities. And it's got great liquidity. Now, as we know, there's lots of other factors, the pricing factors, the equity, all sorts of different types of evaluations to look at. But when you're looking at these liquidity ratios, the current ratio and the quick ratio, using these two simple ratios will really help you understand a company and its ability to meet its short-term needs.